Just last month, we heard the first rumors of an historic change on the horizon. Two countries close in proximity would soon become close in policy. President Barack Obama announcing an end to the Cuban embargo, more than a half-century old. At the same time, Cuban President Raul Castro spoke on national television to his country and denied that Havana had made any concessions to the U.S. From that time until now, several questions and concerns hovered over the 90-mile stretch between the two shores. Now, since then, his brother Fidel Castro reiterated his own concerns, casting another shadow of doubt on the New Deal. Now we have a new list of demands from the Cuban government, a line in the sand. If not met, Havana could drift even farther apart from Washington. And all along, local politicians staking their claim at every turn. Senator Marco Rubio, one of those, now calling out the FBI in Washington, demanding they produce a list with the names of all the fugitives from Cuba. But as the Sun Sentinel reports, that list won't be coming anytime soon. You see, there may be plenty of fugitives escaping Cuba. There just isn't a list of them. It's really that simple. The U.S. doesn't have any way of tracking these fugitives, and while Cuba is demanding extradition for many Cuban-born citizens, the U.S. says they're coming up empty-handed. Just another wrinkle developing in this story, and one likely to impact a lot of lives, people living here in South Florida. And another twist in the homeless feeding saga in Fort Lauderdale. Of course, we all remember Chef Arnold Abbott, his group Love Thy Neighbor. The dispute with the city all over where you could feed the homeless got the Army veteran in trouble with the law. Several tickets, expensive fines, court hearings, but now the chef and his group of faithful volunteers landed a pretty strong ally. The group Food Not Bombs opened a can on the city, filing a new civil rights lawsuit against the city for those homeless feeding laws. Some key buzzwords to look out for in this lawsuit: free speech and city zoning permits. That's the focus of this suit. Of course, we know that Mayor Jack Seiler has forced anyone feeding the homeless to do it only indoors. These two groups now fighting in court for their right to use public land to spread some love and to feed the needy. Speaking of the homeless, they're a group that's caused several headaches for those head counters over the years, census takers, unsure how to get the accurate number, the accurate count. But now over 200 volunteers set out all over Palm Beach County trying to do just that, count the homeless. The group volunteered to take part in the biannual point-in-time count. Some of the homeless showed up to a caring kitchen. It was a hot meal program. They were there to be fed, but also to be counted. Not only were they given food, but also a $5 gift card for taking part of the survey, a nice gesture. Just to be safe, several law enforcement officers tagged along, accompanying many of these census counters into the woods and beaches and many different areas, all trying to search for different people, as many as they could find. Now, Division Director of Palm Beach County Human and Veteran Services, Claudia Tuck, says that the census means to provide service as well as bring in additional resources and maintain current funding in place for the homeless. Elsewhere, a strange scene unfolds in Palm Springs, and now a controversy. Many people wanting to know, is this even legal? One bicycle officer had quite a workout recently. He attempted to make a traffic stop. During his regular morning patrol, the officer says he thought he smelled a strong scent of marijuana coming from a truck. Now, many people living in the area would contest that alone is even enough evidence to pull someone over or make an arrest. But then what happened next got people really intrigued. The officer says he pedaled over to the vehicle's window, and at that point, the officer says the driver took off. Now, the bike cop wasn't going to let him off that easy. As the truck drove away, the officer tried to tail him, pedaling as fast as he could. And he got more than he could bargain for, too. Eventually, he had to give in and called for a traffic unit. Now, they did catch up with that truck driver, police squad cars coming and pulling him over. The truck's owner, Thomas Faw, arrested with charges of possession of marijuana and drug paraphernalia. Also, he's being charged for fleeing and eluding a police officer. Now, Faw was taken into custody, but is now out on bail. More details on this story to follow. And it turns out, Catherine gets around. You know Catherine, the great white shark. She hung out around Cape Cod up in Massachusetts for much of the summer in 2013. And Catherine topped 10,000 miles, now closing in right here in the area on Brevard County, Florida. Turns out she, like maybe many of you, a snowbird. Greg Scoble and his team of scientific researchers tracked her migration all the way to warmer waters, a fascinating journey. Researchers captured the 14-foot, 2,300-pound great white, and they fitted her dorsal fin, you can see here, with a satellite device, and they also gave her the name Catherine at the time. Now, since then, her journeys have captured the imagination of researchers and maybe some of you shark geeks all over the country. It's not Shark Week yet, but you can never be too careful. Knowing is half the battle, folks, If you're at the beach or anywhere near the water, keep an eye out for that dorsal fin.